In Frankfort was nearly killed Saturday night in an apparent domestic violence road rage incident.
Faith Newsom is in a Lexington hospital now, where she awaits more surgeries and remains in critical condition. Well, WKYT's Kelsey Soto is talking with her family tonight for our top story at 11.
And that's why we named her Faith. She earned her name.
Faith Newsom was never even supposed to live. Her dad, Lowell, a local pastor, tells me she was diagnosed with tumors in utero, but they disappeared by a 36-week ultrasound.
That I love you. And your daddy will always be here for you. And she knows I love her.
Now she's fighting once again in a UK hospital. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office says she was crushed late Saturday night after being run over by Brendan Cummins. Deputies believe he intentionally crashed into the back, which threw her from the bike, dragging her underneath. An arrest citation shows a blood alcohol level of 0.13.
All I was thinking about is saving my baby sister's life.
Her brother Dustin was one of the first on scene and says he helped jack the car up to get pressure off of her.
And what I seen was the most gruesome thing you could possibly imagine.
She's lost one leg and doctors are trying to save the other. Her dad tells me her pelvis is broken in many places and she's battling several other internal injuries.
It's going to be a long road, a long road.
This family is no stranger to heartbreak. A year and a half ago, Faith's 4-year-old Bentley was killed in an ATV rollover crash. Now her 2 other children are desperate for her to wake up. And despite all that the Newsoms have been through, they have never given up on Faith.
They tell her, more importantly, that God loved her and God kept his arms around her. That was nothing but the will and the grace of God.
In Lexington, Kelsey Soto, WKYT.
And the suspect does have a criminal record. WKYT has learned that in January he was charged with strangling Faith. He pled guilty in late April and was sentenced to 180 days in jail, which was suspended. He was then ordered no contact with the victim and no new criminal offenses. Today, Brendan Cummins' bond was raised to $100,000 all cash. He is facing charges of assault, reckless driving, and DUI. And his next court appearance is May 28th in Franklin County.